What I wanted to talk about today is the differences I see between the best product teams and the rest. So many teams I meet, especially companies that want to start, founders of startups, they think they have to solve a new problem. But the truth is, almost every great product out there is not solving a new problem. They are solving old problems. And the difference was they were able to find a solution that was dramatically better. All of these problems, Apple didn't have to convince the world they needed a better cell phone. We all had cell phones. They were just not good. The next issue, which is so many product teams think they need to spend so much time learning about what's referred to as the problem space. However, the user research that we need is not this. Here's what it is. If you had all the time you wanted, spending a lot of time learning about the problem space, it's great. But you don't have all the time. The clock is ticking. If you're a startup, you're going to run out of money. If you're a big company, your manager's going to run out of patience. This is what happens. And the most important thing, one of the most important things to understand in product is this. To product teams, what's hard about product is not understanding the problem space. It's coming up with a solution that's so much better than the alternatives that your customers choose you. Please don't misunderstand that. If you build a solution for a problem that people don't have, that's not going to do anything. If you ever wondered why consumer products are generally so much better designed, better to use, more effective than B2B products, this is a really big one because just look at the industry. Where do the most successful products, including and especially in the B2B space, come from? They come from people that were not experts. And the problem is if you hire somebody from, let's say, a bank, the banking industry, and they know that banking industry or they know healthcare industry so well, it's very difficult for them to know what are the things that they're doing because they need to, and what are the things they're doing because they've always done them that way. What we're generally looking for is people that learn quickly. That makes for a good product manager. Good news is we have many more teams talking to their customers today, and I'm happy about that. That's good. It's ironic, but it's good. The bad news is too many teams think that their job is to get requirements from them. That customers don't know what's possible. The point of product is to combine their problems, real customer problems, with solutions that are just now possible. This is really referred to as product principle number one. Most important product principle. Steve Jobs used to hold up his iPhone and say, you can conduct 100 focus groups. You will never get an iPhone. This is, I talked to a startup literally just a couple weeks ago, and I was so surprised to see they created an MVP right at the beginning, 3 years ago. What I was so shocked to find, they have the same MVP What that meant was he tried different positioning, he tried different pricing, he tried moving from a freemium model to a trial model. He tried every single variation he could, except changing his solution. It had the focus on the problem, not on their particular idea for a solution. Okay. You tell me, what do you think is the more agile team? Is it the team that has a product owner, has a scrum master, has an agile coach, they do sprint planning, they do daily stand-ups, they do retros, but they release once a quarter? Really, release once a quarter, or maybe once a month. Versus the team, say, at Amazon, that thinks Agile is a bunch of BS. Yet they release many times a day. The fact that you have product owners, that's not really the problem. The problem is who trained the product owners. Mostly they were trained by Agile coaches. It is a completely different job. I want to be clear. One is a role and a process, and the other is a major responsibility on a product team. You need to come up with all these innovative product ideas. Another one of those misconceptions. And it's not just product managers that think this, it's CEOs and stakeholders. They all think they have to come up with these innovative ideas. And Steve Jobs called this the disease of thinking that an idea is 90% of the work. And every iteration you do, you learn some things that you need to change, other things that are working, and you keep iterating on it until you've crafted a great solution. Okay. Very related to this problem is thinking that your engineers need to be focused on coding. They don't hire all these engineers to tell them what to do. They hire them to show them what's possible. If the first time your engineers are seeing your product ideas is at sprint planning, you have totally failed. The real solutions come from the engineers. In fact, another practice in the best companies is the engineers don't have to build something a product manager tells them to build. They only build if they agree. And we need the team to believe it's the right thing to do. We don't want them to build something because we told them to. So another really common problem is the product team, engineers, designers, product manager, gets so focused on coming up with a product their customers love, which obviously is a good thing. The problem is, that's only half the equation. When we talk about product market fit, that's the product side. We also need to talk about the market side. And a lot of product companies don't. The last point is this belief that you need process people in order to grow. Now, my whole rant about product owners before, that was mostly aimed at Europe. This is a worldwide phenomena. The problem is that big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. Bezos likes to say, be very careful, as a company gets larger, it's very easy for process to become the thing. Over time, the process people get promoted and product people are now working for process people, and they don't want to. And so they leave. Let's say you wanted to change your company to be more like the best companies. What does that really mean? The first is changing how you build, test, and deploy your products. It means you are releasing to your customers no less than once every 2 weeks. Interested? There's an excellent book called Accelerate that talks about not just continuous delivery, but it talks about all the evidence at these companies about why continuous delivery actually yields better quality for our customers and better velocity. Next, changing how you solve problems. And that's what product discovery is, coming up with a solution that's valuable, usable, feasible, viable. The reason product managers were invented 30 years ago was around this, for value and viability. The third area, because so far, we're still working on the problems that the different stakeholders identified. But that sort of begs the question, how do we know those are the most important problems to work on? Okay, those are the three things. Changing how you build, changing how you solve problems, and changing how you decide which problems you want to pursue. My email is right there. So anybody who has a question and didn't get a chance to ask it, because I talked too long, please send me a note.